poking up over the rocks. But people are pretty aware of what role vultures play in the ecosystem. They are nature's garbage men. They feed on the decaying animals that would be spreading disease. And because of their diet, vultures have special adaptations. They don't have any feathers on top of their head. They have that nice bald hairstyle going on. And that's because if you look at that skeleton inside of the exhibit, that's where the vulture has to put its head. It has to put its head in between all those rib cages to get to the meat and the inner organs. Now because of that icky diet, if they had feathers on top of their head, they would risk accidentally getting them infected because of what they feed on. So they have that bald head, which is also really, really dark. Usually it's black, to help provide the vulture with some much needed sunscreen. Now, black isn't a color for camouflage, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move up ahead. If you want to go ahead and turn back out to the left-hand side, we'll be looking at our 65-acre exhibit. And we've seen many different species of herd animals. Coming up, we have a nice large herd of Gemsbok orcs, these lavender-colored animals. Notice that the females and the males both have the horns.
Look at these guys.
Tells you right away what kind of habitat they come from. You usually find them out there in the savannah, even in the desert.
You see the horns? Hey, look at those things running.
The females are fully equipped with the horns and elaborate facial marks called a threat mask because they have to compete for their dinner with their males. If you look at the very center of that herd, though, you'll find the youngest individual. It's a small little beige Gemsbok. Kind of looks like a different species. The babies are born that sandy brown color because it helps them camouflage when they lie down. And also makes them look very vulnerable to the rest of their herd, which is a good thing. If they were born with the same facial markings, that threat mask, and those horns, well then the rest of the herd would view them as competition for food and water, and they would pick on them. If you look at the baby, you'll see that it's just starting to develop the threat mask, that elaborate facial marking, which helps to elongate the horns and hide the eye location, helping to pull predators. On the opposite side of that road, there's a herd of sable antelope right up above the Gemsbok. You'll notice once again that alert circle formation. They're all looking out in different directions. So while they rest and relax, they still look out for predators. Up ahead, not as large as the Gemsbok, but equally impressive, the springbok gazelles. We have a small herd of bachelor males.
You can't switch seats now, the car's moving. Tell me you can't switch seats.
You can't switch. Okay.
You'll notice right across the belly area, little black stripe. We all kind of call it the racing stripe. Springbok gazelles, like most gazelles, are pretty fast. So that little black stripe across the belly area is designed to make them look a little bit bigger than what they really are. And the white underbelly helps to reflect some of the heat away from their inner organs. And the beige upper belly, once again, good source of camouflage for when they lie down. Now we have two separate herds of springbok. We have the bachelor herd that we just viewed, and we have the herd that has one male and the rest are female. During the mating season, the bachelor herd will try to challenge that one male. But right now they're kind of just sticking together because safety does rely upon numbers, especially if you're a nice little bite-sized animal like the springbok. Up ahead here is
that better?
One of the most impressive animals out there in Africa.
Look at that.
Talked about how black is not a good source for camouflage. Here's a great example, the water buffalo or the Cape buffalo.
Okay, look, water.
Cape buffalo are the most dangerous animals out there in Africa because they have that dark coat that helps advertise how large they are. They can grow to be about 1,800 pounds in size. They have those big horns. And that's not the thing that makes them the most dangerous. The thing that makes them the most dangerous is that they're not afraid of using that body size against anybody, including large predators. The top predators lions will very rarely take on Cape buffalo. If you notice, there's one individual that's staring straight back at our vehicle. That's what they do when they feel threatened. They'll stare straight at you, then they do a mimic charge, and if you still don't get the point, they form a defensive line, and that whole herd will simply trample you down, an action known as mobbing. There's been several cases of Cape buffaloes out there in Africa trampling down fully grown lions. And those female lionesses can grow to be over 330 pounds, about 400 pounds or so.
Yeah. Is this cool? Can you see? Can you see, buddy?
Alright, now as we move along the way here,
Hey.
check out towards the front of the vehicle. You'll notice that there's a cement wall.
Are we in the wind?
Alright, along that wall, you'll see the tallest and largest of the birds, the ostriches.
Look, birds.
Reaching heights of 7 to 9 feet tall, weighing about 300
Can you
pounds.
see
Quite
this
little
stuff?
bird.
You can see, right?
It's a good thing.
What, David?
We have a lovely view for you.
Here, hold my camera.
Inside of this little corral, you'll find our
Let me point out.
northern white
Show me where the
rhino,
animals are.
Nola.
What's that?
Move up.
What is it,
Come
Dave?
right about here so you guys can get a lovely view of Nola. White rhino, but she is gray like I talked about earlier. You'll notice how her head is much heavier and much bigger than the black rhino that we saw at the beginning. She is not going to be feeding off the trees anytime soon. That head alone weighs about 800 to 1,000 pounds. These are the natural lawnmowers of Africa. Now, Nola is an equally impressive female because she is a critically endangered species. Northern white rhinos are only found throughout a specific area of Africa, mostly throughout the Congo, and there's only about 7 of them left in the world, and we have 2 of them right here in our facility. The number one reason why that population is so low is because of that horn. Out there on the black market, rhino horn sells for about $37,000 a pound. Believe it or not, rhino horns are made out of the exact same substance that makes up human fingernails and hair. That's a simple protein called keratin. So that horn that you're looking at is nothing but very tightly fused hairs. And we actually go out there and we shave her upper horn down so it doesn't grow up to that bottom horn. Now, don't feel sad for Nola. She has a very pampered lifestyle here at the park. Our keepers go out there and they give her a little pedicure. They file down that horn for her. They also give her nice little bubble baths. But she is a very important part of our animal collection. About a mile away from our
Help me find the
facility,
animals, buddy. Come on.
we have another program. It's called the Conservation and Research of Endangered Species, also known as CREST. And at CREST, we have several samples from our male and our female northern white
Show me
rhinos
so I can take a
that we're
picture.
hoping to use later on
I can't see them. Where are
try
they?
to bring that species back. It's
You
a
see
part of
them?
our world famous frozen zoo.
On the ground?
Alright, as we move past Nola, we're moving into the slightly greener area of Africa. Towards the back of our vehicle, you'll notice there's a small herd of brown antelope. They're called the roan antelope. You get a nice little view of them, but as I move up, I see a few more of them that's slightly closer.
You looking, buddy? Come here.
Let's
David.
try to get a better view here. We also have a little bit of dominance display going on up here at the feeding trough. You're going to get a view of the roan antelope.